Dino Wars, Rise of the Raptors, Chapter 1. "Okay, everyone, you understand the mission objective?" said Adam. His friends were gathered around him in a huddle, speaking in low, secretive tones. His sister Chloe gave a bored eye roll and a nod. Twins Benji and Tuppence, just 6 years old and full of energy, gave an enthusiastic thumbs up. Dag gave a nod. As an Iguanadon, he had no thumbs, just a bony claw that he used for eating and cutting things. "Can I suggest something?" he whispered, holding up a rickety homemade gadget. "I've managed to fashion this grabber claw from some old bits of machinery. It has a very long reach, so we could hide in the bushes and extend it out to its full length. It can get anything in its pincers." Benji and Tuppence laughed. "Ha! You'd have no chance. Leave it to us," said Tuppence. "We can tunnel underneath the location and snatch the target from below. It should take us 4 or 5 hours maximum," said Benji, his arms crossed. Tuppence mirrored him. "The only problem is that you are not, in fact, moles," said Chloe, "however muddy you like to get. I don't see why we can't just go and see Ella and ask for our ball back." Adam looked over to his football, trapped in the centre of a carefully maintained field of cabbages, and then back over to his sister. It hadn't actually occurred to him to do that. That was one reason he loved and detested Chloe at the same time. She was a know-it-all. Adam often thought that when she was born, she'd received most of their mother's qualities. She had the same light brown hair, pale skin and freckles. She had the same dimple in her cheek when she smiled, and she was almost always right. It was one of her most annoying features. Because it's boring," he protested. "Anyway, she's a 5-meter tall diplodocus and very precious about her crops. We're likely to get stomped." "But I invented this grabber especially," said Dag. I don't see why we can't." "I'm telling you, underground is the best way," interrupted Benji. And the crowd of kids fell into an argument once again. Adam sighed as they all bickered and quarrelled. "If you want something, do it. You have to do it yourself," he muttered to himself. It was something his dad had always said, and now Adam knew what it meant. He left the group and set off at a sprint. "Adam, no!" called Chloe, but it was too late. He was already a blur of blonde hair, stomping across the field and knocking over cabbages. He grinned as he ran. "Oi!" came a call from across the field. Suddenly the sun was blocked out by a huge dinosaur rising up from the ground. Ella, a large brown diplodocus, had been asleep under a shelter until she had heard the clomping of boots on her soil. Her long neck stretched out until she could see Adam, who had stopped in fear just meters from the ball. "Get off my land!" she bellowed. Adam dived for the ball and scooped it up, tucking it under his arm. "Run!" he yelled, but his friends had already begun to move. He ran off the field and down a green spit of grass between the allotment plots. Thud, thud, thud came the sound of Ella behind him. She was slow, but her size meant that she could run a few 100 meters with just a few steps. "Adam, to me!" said Tuppence, running alongside him. He threw the ball to her, and she peeled off to the side. Adam kept running. "Blinking kids!" called Ella. "Keep off my allotment!" She continued to chase Adam, uninterested in the ball itself. Breathless, he found an extra pocket of energy from somewhere and dashed forwards. "Come here!" Adam sped through Bastion, the village of mud huts, wood cabins and farmsteads that his parents had helped to build. Around him, the humans and dinosaurs who lived and worked together turned to look at him as he sped past them, pursued by a giant angry diplodocus. Of course, this was nothing new to them, just that pesky Adam Caine getting into trouble again. But soon he had reached the limits of the settlement, marked by a natural stone wall, part of a cliff that his father had built around as a natural defence from the world outside. There was nowhere to go, except... Looking about, he spied a small opening in the cliff ahead. Not a cave exactly, but large enough to hide himself inside. He ran to it. "Come out here, Caine," said Ella. No thanks," Adam called. She was too large to get anywhere near the small cave. Adam congratulated himself on hiding well, but then realised that he would have to come out sometime, and Ella could wait all night. "Hey!" came a call. Adam recognised Benji's voice. "Over here!" Peeking out from his hidey hole, Adam saw Ella turn her massive neck in time to get a football on the nose. "Oof!" she called. "Ow!" she said again, this time lifting up one huge leg. Adam looked down to see a mechanical grabbing claw nip her on the back of the ankle. "You rotters!" She turned away from Adam and towards Chloe, Dag and the twins, who had come to distract her. "Come and get us, Bone Brain!" called Tuppence. Ella turned her whole body, and her massive tail thrashed about, narrowly missing the twins, but bashing straight into the cliff face of the gorge. The rocks rumbled, and Adam heard a loud sound from behind him. The cave was shifting. The stones in the small passageway tumbled. "I've had enough of you little beggars," called Ella. She stomped off back towards the centre of Bastion. "Woohoo!" yelled the twins. "Victory!" They danced around and high-fived Dag and Chloe. Adam, meanwhile, could see something in the corner of the cave. He fished a wind-up flashlight out of his pocket, a piece of old tech that he had found when ploughing a field. It still worked, and a few turns of the little handle later, he had light. "Guys," he shouted to his friends, "you have to come and see this." And that's the end of the first chapter of Dino Wars Rise of the Raptors by me, Dan Metcalf. For more information, please visit danmetcalf.co.uk/Dino Wars.